Storytime.
Hello, my name's Juliet. I've just been writing a letter to my sister Elaine. She lives in Australia. She sent this kangaroo to my children, Patrick and Jack. There they are. If you live in Australia, you might see lots of kangaroos. Real ones, of course. There's one with a joey in her pouch. I used to live in Australia when I was younger. Here's a picture of me and my sister Elaine on the beach. Most Australian towns are near the seaside, and the people can spend a lot of time on the beach. Aren't they lucky? The countryside is very beautiful, but there aren't many roads, and it's difficult to get about. But that doesn't worry the animals that live there. Here's a koala with her baby. They look cuddly, don't they? But actually, they are wild animals, and they've got very sharp claws. You know, I can remember when I was travelling on a train in Australia, and it wasn't going very fast, and I looked out the window, and you know what I saw? I saw all these kangaroos hopping past. I felt like shouting to the driver, "You better get a move on. Those kangaroos are going to get there before we do." You know, they've got really strong legs and tails, and they can move very fast. I'm going into the magic landscape today because it reminds me of Australia. Whew, it's hot. I'd forgotten how hot it gets in Australia. The story today is from Australia. It's about a frog called Tiddalick. Now, Tiddalick comes from a part of Australia where they don't have very much rain. So the people have learned to be very careful with the water, and they've made up stories to remind themselves of how precious water is in a dry land. Once, long ago in the dreaming, there was a frog called Tiddalick. Tiddalick was a big frog, and his thirst was even bigger. One morning, he went to the nearest river to drink. He drank until there was nothing left but thick black mud. Tiddalick looked around for more water to drink. He drank the water from the billabongs. He drank the water from the lakes. He drank until the last drops of water in the land had disappeared into his vast mouth. He was so fat that he couldn't move. Now there was no water left for the other animals. In great distress, they called a meeting. What could they do? There was no sign of rain. If all the water in the land stayed inside Tiddalick, they would die of thirst. At last, a very wise and very old wombat spoke up. "If only we could make Tiddalick laugh, all the stolen water would burst out of his mouth." "He'll laugh at my stories," said Goo Goo Gaga, the kookaburra. He perched on a branch close to Tiddalick's head and told stories which he thought so funny that he kept shouting with laughter himself. Tiddalick didn't smile. Nothing changed on his wide, mournful face. Kangaroo and emu were next to try. They played leapfrog.
Boing, boing.
Tiddalick didn't laugh. He just sat. The frill-necked lizard strutted to and fro, puffing out his stomach. Tiddalick was almost fast asleep. "Let me try," said Noyang the eel, who had come late to the meeting. He slithered in front of Tiddalick. Very slowly and gracefully, Noyang stood upright on his tail. Weaving and swaying, he danced faster and faster. He rolled over and over like a hoop. He twisted and spun. He tied himself in a knot. Tiddalick watched in amazement. Then, from deep within him, a rumbling sound grew louder and louder. His mouth opened and Tiddalick laughed. A mighty gush of water swept the animals far and wide, bumbling and tumbling them along creeks and waterholes. Tiddalick had shrunk like a burst balloon. There was water again for everyone. Tiddalick slunk away and hardly dared to come out again. Poor old Tiddalick. Do you think he'll do that again? I've made a Tiddalick puppet. It's by the gate. I'll show you. Here he is. Look how fat he gets when I move the stick. He's made out of cardboard. You could make up another story about Tiddalick, or you could make up your own story like these children.
We listened to the story of Tiddalick, then we made up our own story.
The teacher helped the children make up their own story.
I wonder where this story happened. Do you remember which country?
Australia.
In Australia, that's right. Well, I wonder how the weather would be at the beginning of our story.
It was very hot.
Yes.
It doesn't rain for a while.
It doesn't rain for a while. It was very hot. Yes, it was. Well, how do you
We decided to act out our own story. But first we had to make the scenery. Some of us painted the sky blue. We wanted it to look like Australia.
Can you hold that?
We made the grass from straws and see-through paper.
That's right on that edge.
It was hard to stick on.
Well done. Good.
When we finished the scenery, we did the play. It was very hot. The animals were sleepy. They were lying in the grass under the trees, a long way from the pool. They wished they had a breeze to make them cool. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound. The animals were scared. They thought it was the wind. They looked up in amazement because it was a penguin shuffling through the leaves. Pip the penguin was very hot and tired because he didn't like the weather. He asked the kangaroo, "Is there a pool near here?" "Yes, but I'm too hot and tired to eat with you to the pool." He asked the koala, "Is there a pool near here?" "Yes, but I'm too hot and tired to climb with you to the pool." So he asked the emu, "Is there a pool near here?" "Yes, but I'm too hot and tired to run with you to the pool." So he asked the snake, "Is there a pool near here?" "Yes, but I'm too hot and tired to slither with you to the pool." The kookaburra was the last animal that Pip asked. "Is there a pool near here?" "Yes, but I'm too hot and tired to fly with you to the pool." Pip was very sad that the animals couldn't help him, but he was a magic penguin. "If I help you to feel cool, will you help me, please?" "Yes, we will." Pip took out his magic fan. He taught them the magic words. "Rustle, rustle, wind, rustle, take us to the pool." The wind came with a rustle. The kangaroo jumped. The emu ran. The koala climbed. The kookaburra flew. The snake slithered slowly, helping Pip to shuffle to the pool. The animals were very happy to be cool, and Pip splashed into the water. He was very happy too.
The children have lent me the book they made. Look, they've drawn pictures of the animals on the cover. There's the koala and there's the penguin. Although the animals in this story live in Australia, you can sometimes see them in this country in zoos, where they can be looked after properly and given special food. These children were allowed to get close to a group of emus.
We fed the emus.
Busy up the top there at the moment.
We fed them with maize and pellets. The maize looked a bit like cornflakes. In Australia, they eat berries, grass, seeds, and all sorts of things. I was surprised emus can't fly, but they can run very fast.
We've seen a lot of different Australian animals today, haven't we? Emus, frogs, kangaroos. Here's a song that I'm sure you'll know, Old MacDonald. But the animals are different. You see if you can think up some other animals to go into the song. Cheerio.